Hello, everybody. It's Marcus from PageProof here. Today, going through another PageProof Academy. Today on the Microsoft Office add-in. So, what I'm going to go through today is a look at the newly released PageProof add-in for Microsoft Office. So, let me get straight in and get started, and let's take a look at the new add-in that we've done for Office. But just before we do that, I'd just like to go into a little bit of background. So, look, the whole thing about these add-ins that we have for different products is it's about getting the tools into PageProof into the tools that you're using every day. So, for example, we can do a lot of proofing with different file formats. We do a lot of PDF proofing, a lot of video proofing comes through our platform. But it's really interesting when we look at all of the proofing types, Microsoft Office documents, particularly Word and PowerPoint, stand out as well. And it's something, we have a Figma plugin, we have a plugin for InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop, the video applications, including Apple's Final Cut Pro. And, it's one that we didn't have one for Microsoft Office. So we've gone ahead and built a plugin for Microsoft Office so that you can bring bring PageProof into PowerPoint, bring PageProof into Word, and also Excel. So let's take a quick look at it. So I'm just going to jump over to Microsoft Word here, and I've got myself in front of me a Word document. Now, the PageProof add-in, the way to get it is up in the ribbon at the top. You'll see there's an add-ins up here. You click in, do a search for PageProof. It'll come up with the add-in here. Click on, and it opens up this panel over on the right-hand side where you can see all of your dashboard, the contents of your dashboard and various other things. So this is the add-in for Microsoft Office. Now, this exact same thing shows up if you do that add-in inside of PowerPoint and Excel as well. You'll get this panel over here. Now, the great thing with this panel is that, of course, you need to log in. Once you're logged in, you can create proofs. You can also bring back feedback from PageProof directly into Microsoft Office. Now, a couple of questions obviously pop up. A few people ask, well, Word has got track changes. So, why do I need to have this extra functionality? Well, there's a couple of things, obviously, which PageProof brings. So, for example, workflows, automated deadlines, there's a whole lot of things which PageProof brings. But the one big thing is that you can comment on imagery, graphs, tables, those sorts of things, which track changes does not do. So there's a few extra options here which open this up. And also you're putting all of your feedback into one platform, which again, you've now got your Word documents alongside of your PDFs, your video, and those sorts of things all on one platform for your people to review, your team to review. Now, creating a proof from inside of here, once you have the panel open, you can do it from inside of this panel. So you can see there's a create new proof button right here. Click on create new proof, and that will take us to getting that started. You can also do it from the ribbon at the top here. So you can see there's a create new proof button now added up the top in the ribbon. So you're able to just hit that and create a new proof from directly inside there. Now, exploring a bit further around, you'll see down the bottom, we've got this little option here for logging in, logging out, and telling you the version that you're running. So who you're logged in as, that's down the bottom. And also over here, the option to refresh and filter and all those sorts of things. So you'll see those options showing up inside this panel. Now, to create a proof, very simply choose one of the options, and that's going to pop up this dialog which says, hey, here's the name of the proof that you're going to put up into PageProof, and you can choose the format. Now, interestingly, inside of Word, you've got the option for PDF and text. So if you just want the plain text to go out, you can do that. But we do recommend use the Word DOCX file. It's probably a good way of getting your proof started. The time that you would use a PDF would be where you're using some really, really unusual fonts that you can't embed in a Word document, or you've got an extremely graphics heavy document and you think, oh, look, it'd be much better if I just got this all bound up inside of a PDF and sent out. But generally, I would say the way to do it would be to choose DOCX from here. And once you've done that, just click on Upload. That's going to create the proof and then puts it up into PageProof, where you're able to now choose your reviewers to set up your workflow and also choose a checklist to go along with it. So you've got all these options, including things like, setting a due date, setting up your automated reminders, all the PageProof things that you know so well, all available here. Okay, proof goes out and your reviewers can then place feedback directly onto the proof. So really, really simple for them to come in and leave feedback. So if you think about, those features that we use inside of PageProof every day, that Word document we were just looking at inside of Word, it's been sent out as a proof and some people have left us some feedback. So we can see this feedback showing up inside of here, all inside of PageProof. So you can see this one's got a text change, got another thing here saying, hey, can we remove these items on this image? So this is some of the great things that comes along with using PageProof with Microsoft Word and PowerPoint as well. Now, the same thing you can do inside of PowerPoint. So really, really easy. You can just go over to PowerPoint, do the same thing, put that add-in into PageProof, into PowerPoint. You now have PageProof inside of PowerPoint. So we can see here we have that, and you click in, you can see your comments inside of here. So somebody's already commented on my PowerPoint presentation. Obviously sent this out, and now I've got the changes coming back into my Microsoft Office documents. Okay, so let's go look at how the changes can happen here. So here I am inside of Word. Now you saw when we were looking at the Word document inside of PageProof that there were a number of comments here. So you can see these comments, and these have been put here as to-dos, things for me to take care of inside of Office. I can go and make these changes. So now that I'm inside of Microsoft Word, you can see here is the document that I was just looking at inside of PageProof. Now I'm inside of Microsoft Word, inside the PageProof add-in, and then you'll notice here are the comments showing up directly inside of my Word document. Now if I click into here, that will then just allow me to it just highlights it, and if I double click it, it's going to show me the context from PageProof, and I can see exactly, oh, okay, that's the area they're referring to. I can now make those changes on this Word document. So just showing you, just double click on the comment and it shows you the context, which is pretty useful. So you can go through, once you've made that change, check it off as done. So you can mark items as done inside of here and then go back to the next comment. So this next comment, if I look at it, it's showing me, okay, key features. That is the text change, and you can see here is the text inside of here. Now, great thing about the add-in, you don't need to rekey it. You can just highlight over the copy that you want the change to be made. On the three dots that you see here, just click and say insert, and it makes the text change for you. Boom. Right, great, text change is done. That also works inline as well. So if I go back and look at this last change that here, if I just open that up, just double click, it's showing me that collaborators can provide. All I need to do is just highlight that, just go through and say that, and then make the change, insert, boom. Now it's made the change for me, and I can mark that off as done and then close the window. So that's all of the changes made inside this Word document. And to upload a new version, I just come over and I'm able to upload a new version directly from the three dots that line up with this here. So let's go in here and say upload new version. That's going to put a new version for us up into PageProof. So I'll just get that popped up into PageProof. We'll send this out to the workflow. So you can see my workflow here that I want this to go out to. Once it uploads, then we get the features like the compare and such like. So if I just go in now and just upload that into PageProof, we can look at version 2 against version 1 of the proof. So I'll just pop that in, and then we'll go to the proof. There's our new Word document, and you'll see there's the version. So because I chose upload new version from inside of Word, it now attaches it as another version inside of PageProof. And this is where I can go into the compare mode, I can see the two side by side, and you can see the differences. You can see the changes have been made, and I can even go into Smart Compare and see those changes showing up inside of here as well. So all of those options available inside of PageProof from directly inside of Word. Now, the same workflow, if I wanted to do this with PowerPoint, I can do that, and we'll go there in a second. But one thing I wanted to show you actually was two new features that have been added to PageProof, which are being released at pretty much the same time as the Office add-in, and that is the spell check feature, which many people have asked for. So we have a spell check in PageProof now, particularly useful for Word documents. Works on PDFs as well, works on your PowerPoint presentations. So really good spell check. Today, the spell check is in beta, and the spell check is US English at this stage. We have other dictionaries coming really soon, but today, those are the options you get. It's available over in the Magic Tools. So you can go to the Magic Tools and you can click on the spell check icon here, and that will do the spell check. Or if you look at the keyboard shortcuts, you'll see that the spell check is invoked using S. So you can click on S, and that will then do the spell check for you. Now, it highlights for you things that are questionable. So it's saying here, look, I can see that there's a spell check issue here, and there's one here as well. So if you click onto it, you can create a comment directly from inside of here. So I can just say, you know, counter example, I can just click onto it. It creates a comment over here. I can make the correction that I want, and that highlights it for me and adds a comment. So the spell check is all bound into the commenting system as well. So really useful for getting your documents checked over. So you can just hit the S key, and it will show you all of the spelling issues on your document. So really useful. The second feature we released was an accessibility feature actually, which is the color check. Now, color check is useful for checking brand colors, so you can do that. So if I go over here to the Magic Tools and click on the eyedropper icon, color check, here I can click onto a color, and that will tell me what the color is. So if I want to just say, look, for example, this background color here, if I just use the eyedropper, I can go onto this here, and it tells me there is the hex color for that, and there's the RGB as well. You can change this to other options if you wanted to see what that color is. So that's great. I've got my background color set. I can also now choose the text color. Let's click on the little eyedropper here. I choose the color of the text, just click in, and it gives me a rating for accessibility. So it's showing me, I've got at the top here, these standards. You can choose from the two different standards we've got built in, and it's giving me a rating of what that color contrast is going to be. So with the text white and the background color this color here, we're going to have an excellent accessibility for being able to see that that logo and that text on that background. So that's the color check. Useful for checking colors, also useful for checking accessibility as well. So kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but these two features were released at the same time as Microsoft Office. So I just want to show you those. Okay, now when it comes to PowerPoint presentations, again, you can send PowerPoint presentations from directly inside of PowerPoint using the Create New Proof button. If I click onto these comments, it's showing me the comments inside of here. This is inside of PageProof. So these are the comments that were made. Now, if I go over to PowerPoint, what does this look like? So I'm going to switch over to PowerPoint now, and we can see here is the PageProof panel opened up. I've highlighted that PowerPoint proof inside of here, and there are the comments down below. If I click onto the comment and then double click, it's going to show me the context of that. So it's going to open up and show me exactly the changes. You know, can we have these removed? And you can see it's been highlighted in the context that's showing up in this window. So really great way of getting feedback on your PowerPoint slides, and of course being able to see that feedback directly inside of PowerPoint. So I'm going to make those changes, check it off as done, and then I can move on to the next one. So you can see here, if I double click on here, it's going to show me the context, the introduction to PageProof. I can see they want that to be put in here, so I can actually just key that in directly if I want to. Okay, we'll mark that as done. Go to the next one. Can this be read? Again, double click. It's going to show me the context, loads the context up. I can see the area that's being referred to, and then I can make those changes directly inside of here. So make all of these changes. We can go through, mark them all as done, and then directly from inside here, just like we saw in Word, I can click on the three dots and I can say upload new version, and it'll put a new version of this PowerPoint deck out, and then my reviewers are able to see the next version of it and compare it against the previous one. So this shows you the functionality of the PowerPoint plugin or add-in for Microsoft that we've got for PageProof inside of Microsoft Office. Okay, so a couple of tips and tricks when it comes to this. So let me talk a little bit about the use cases. So really interesting with PowerPoint. Now, PowerPoint with track changes is not a great scenario. It's not a great way to work because it's so graphical. You've got so many things like charts, and you've got, you know, all sorts of images and things in here. So using PageProof, the add-in with PowerPoint, is a really great way of gathering feedback from your teams. And in fact, we've seen people almost do the reverse of proofing, where they've got their team members to submit their PowerPoint decks back to the design team as a proof for the design team to actually approve, so the person can now go and use that with a customer. So that's one great working way of just making sure that all of your PowerPoint decks are on brand and that the people using them have got approval from the design team for the changes that they've made to the PowerPoint deck before it's shown to a customer. So that's one great working example right there. Now, a lot of PowerPoint slides have interactivity built into them. They have, you know, special effects that you've applied, and, you know, transitions and things like that. One thing I did want to point out that is inside of PageProof, you can create a proof from a web link. And you're able to do that from directly inside of Office 365. This is what happens when you upload a Word document as an Office 365 link. It actually comes up inside of here. Now, if this was PowerPoint, I would see all the interactivity and the transitions and all those sorts of things. So that's another way that you can leave feedback on your Microsoft documents, is to upload them, creating a web proof by using the Office 365 share link. And now you've got to have share permissions that mean that anyone can see the document here, so that they're able to open the proof and view it. So that's just one thing to be aware of, but it is an extremely great way of looking at your Office 365 documents inside of PageProof and getting feedback. So that is the glimpse into Word, and looking at how PageProof, the plugin for Microsoft Office from PageProof, works in Word, where you can insert and change the text. You can look at the context, see where the changes are pointing to inside of Microsoft Word. And again, you can do exactly the same thing inside of PowerPoint as well. So you can see all the changes, all the things, all the comments directly inside of your PowerPoint application using the PageProof add-in directly inside of here. Now, this all works in Excel as well. So even though I'm highlighting PowerPoint and I'm highlighting Word, the same thing occurs with Excel as well. The use case may be a little bit different, but you know, we think if you can look at PowerPoint as a good focus for how you can gather feedback, we know PowerPoint is part of the creative process, and it's something that a lot of designers are working with to put things together. So there we have it. Thank you very much for your attendance today. The next PageProof Academy next month coming up is about workflow optimizations. So if you are interested in learning more about how to get more out of your workflows in PageProof, I'm more talking about how to set up those sequential workflows in the PageProof setup screen. Join us next month for PageProof Academy. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.